What's up, guys? So today we're doing something a little different. I'm going over a topic that's been asked quite a few times on my offshore kayak videos. That being, how do I launch and land the Hobie Lynx? I'm gonna be completely honest, there really isn't a huge difference between the Hobie Lynx and other kayaks. Instead of making an entire video just about the Hobie Lynx, I'm gonna go ahead and dedicate this video towards just launching and landing kayaks in general in the surf. I am by no means an expert. I have flipped kayaks multiple times in the surf while trying to go offshore fishing. So please take this video, learn from my mistakes, and hopefully I'll get y'all out there and y'all can go catch these fish for yourselves. If y'all have any other questions, like just fishing questions in general, please hit me up. I would love to answer them and hear from y'all guys. There was one gentleman, he hit me up one day asking about red fishing, just how do I catch a redfish? Never caught one before. I gave him a few tips, and then with those tips, he was able to land his first redfish. And then a couple weeks ago, he sent me this picture. He landed his PB, which was a 36-inch redfish, absolute slop. So if y'all have anything that you want me to go over, send me a message, leave a comment down below, and if I get enough of these questions or enough of these topics, I'll just go ahead and make a full video. If not, I'll answer your questions right there on Instagram or whatever platform you hit me up on. Other than that, let's go ahead and get today's video started, that being how to launch and land a kayak from the surf. Y'all stay tuned. Alright guys, so the first topic we're going to go over today before even launching your kayak, even getting on the beach, is weather. This is huge. This could make or break your entire fishing trip. And by weather, I'm talking about rain, obviously, the wind, and the water. What is the water doing? What is the surf doing? What are the swells doing? So there are 3 apps that I like to use to determine what the weather is going to be like. That is Weather Underground, Magic Seaweed, and Clime. Alright, those are the 3 apps I like to use. I'm going to go into how I use these apps, each one specifically. Weather Underground, great app. Go download it, use the free version. I don't pay for any of these apps. Weather Underground is going to show you the precipitation, the wind direction, and obviously the temperature. The temperature I'm not too worried about because I'm going to fish in the heat or cold, it doesn't really matter. But the wind direction and precipitation are 2 that I like to look for. And what I like about Weather Underground is that it will tell you by the hour, but typically when I'm going offshore, I like to make sure the wind is below 6 miles an hour, at least. Anything higher, it gets a little sketchy. Magic Seaweed is great. This app allows me to tell what the water is doing. So there are 2 sections of Magic Seaweed that you will look at. There's the surf section and the swell section. So the surf section, I like to go out when it is a foot and under. Okay, that seems to be the money spot. If it says 1 to 2 feet, you probably could still get out there, but just keep in mind, launching and landing is going to be a little rougher. Now, the swell is when it gets a little tricky, and this is something that may be new to most of you if you haven't gone offshore yet and you're thinking about it. So the swell is basically like how those waves are rolling offshore, not at the beach, like when you're out in open water. So the best time that I have found to go offshore is when it says a foot and under for 6 seconds. So basically, for example, it'll say like 0.5 feet. So that's half a foot, that's 6 inches. And for every 6 seconds, you have 6 inches of water. You know, you're going up and down 6 inches. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for a foot and under for 6 seconds or more than 6 seconds. So if it's like 0.2 for 7 seconds, which is like pretty much flat, like you'll be good. Anything higher than a foot, it's gonna be a rough day. It probably wouldn't be very enjoyable. Could you go out? Yes. Is it gonna be a good day of fishing? That I don't know. The fish could be biting, but you're gonna get rocked, okay? Especially in the Lynx, but even in any kayak. And I used to have a Nuku Frontier 12. That was a tank of a kayak, and it still wasn't even that enjoyable. The third app I'm gonna go over, which really I don't use it too often, is called Clime. This is basically just a radar app, and once again, I use the free version. I don't pay for this. I use this app in case I go out there and I see a storm out in the distance on the beach, and I pull up Clime and I'm like, okay, where's that storm heading? It'll give you a nice radar. You get to see where that storm is going, which can make or break your fishing trip. Because if it's moving away, great, send it. If it's moving towards you, probably wouldn't go out. You don't want to be out in the middle of the ocean in a kayak when the storm's heading your way. So that's really the only reason why I use Clime. It's kind of like a backup just in case something comes up out there, so you can track storms. Alright guys, so this section we're going over launching. Now this is actually the easy part. Normally there aren't any issues with launching. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest. First things first, you're gonna make sure everything in your kayak is secured and is strapped down somehow. Last thing you want is stuff flying off while you're trying to get out of the water, right? Now the two things I would keep easily accessible are your paddle and your pedal drive, if you have a pedal drive, alright? So what you're gonna do, you're gonna walk out there and you're gonna keep your bow facing the water, okay? Do not go sideways, just don't do it. You're gonna keep your bow facing forward and you're gonna walk out about knee depth, okay? And you're gonna wait. You're gonna wait to make sure you have an opening and that no breaking waves are gonna come and knock you on your side while you're trying to climb up into your kayak. Once you have an opening, pretty simple. Jump in, grab your paddle, and you're gonna paddle out. Paddle as far as you can till you're past the breaking waves, okay? You shouldn't have any waves coming and breaking and rolling you around and stuff like that. At this point, you're in open water. Go ahead, throw your drive in and pedal on your way. You're good. You made it. Congratulations. Enjoy your fishing. That part's pretty easy. Normally nothing crazy happens. If you follow the steps in the previous section, that is weather, you should have a pretty smooth ride. Now, this being said, if you show up and you're trying to launch and the weather is absolute garbage, those waves are super rough, they're coming in, you don't really have a gap to get through safely, just don't go. Just don't do it, all right? I've tried it, I've failed, I've flipped, it's not fun. It's best just to pack everything up and go hit up a different fishery than to go try to risk it flipping, messing up all your gear, and just ruining the day, honestly. So you just had a great day fishing, you're going back to the beach, you have a nice chest full of fish. Now you have to get back in one piece. All right, so this part is intimidating. It's the intimidating part of offshore fishing, especially when you've been out there all day and the heat's picked up, which means the wind has picked up, which means the waves have picked up, and the conditions are a lot different from when you first launched. Now, what you're gonna do, you're gonna wanna keep your kayak facing the beach. Bow facing the beach, okay? Don't go on your side. That's when stuff goes bad, right? Keep your nose facing the beach. You're gonna keep pedaling or paddling until you get to the part where you're kind of entering the zone where the waves are gonna start breaking again. At this point, anything that's hanging off your kayak, pedal drive system, fish finder, rudder, pull all that stuff in. So grab your paddle and keep going. All right, you're gonna be paddling now. This is a very quick transition too. You want to be like on your game because one wave could come up, rocking your side a little bit, then the next wave flips you. So you want to be really, really quick with this. Once you're paddling again, just full force. You know, speed is your friend at this point. You want to be paddling and paddling and paddling. Get to the point where you can probably jump out of your kayak and touch the bottom. Once you're at that point, do it. Get out of the kayak. I like to get out, hit the bottom, and just walk the kayak the rest of the way in. It's a lot more comfortable, it's a lot safer, and any wave that does come up and hits you from behind, your kayak usually just goes right over it, no problem. When you're in your kayak and you're hitting these waves, you kind of act as like you kind of top heavy because you're the heaviest thing in your kayak. So it's a lot easier for your kayak to float with you in it than with you out of it. So walk your kayak in as soon as you absolutely can. That is probably the safest way to ensure you don't flip and all your gear stays in the kayak. Then once you're on the beach, pull that kayak as far up as you can so that waves don't come and drag it back out to sea, and you're good to go. And there you have it. That's it. It's really not too bad, especially once you get the hang of it. It's definitely a skill that you need to learn. It took me quite a while. I have flipped multiple times while trying to go offshore, and while landing I flipped, so it's happened to me. Just take these as learning experiences and just keep going forward. You will get the hang of it, and you will get better at this as you go on. And that's about it. Pretty simple. Like I said, you will get better with this as you do it more and progress. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it helpful and you learned something. If there's anything else you want me to go over, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys. And I'm tired of talking, so I'm gonna go chill. Hope to see you all in the water. See you next time.